everybody, this is Havoc and welcome back to City Skylines with our town of Fairwood. If you missed the first episode, we basically started a new city, and right off the bat I want to thank every single one of you who gave words of encouragement, who seemed really excited for the city, because that really kind of helped boost my ego, not in an arrogance way. Your ego is something that needs to be kind of fostered in periods of time. So I am very thankful that you guys enjoyed this first episode, and it will ensure that I'm doing the right thing and that I should, keep going forward with it, basically. But anyways, here in episode 2, we do have a couple of things that I want to do. My goal is to fill out this park, which I also have something in mind for it. I think we're actually going to end up dropping our school district here, and I'll give a justification for that in just a second. But also, we are going to possibly try and expand our way into this sector. Now remember, Fairwood is going to be focusing on national parks, because we have a lot of forestry. We're going to be focusing on forestry industry. We're also going to be focused on farmland, and eventually, as you can see over here, we're going to get into the ore mining industry as well. So my goal was to try and turn this little cubbyhole area into basically like a small town. Is essentially what we're kind of going for with that. So that way it can kind of fund the populace of the industries that are going in over here. But of course, before we begin, if you enjoy any part of this, since YouTube really favors that engagement, anytime you feel like it is worthwhile, you can totally click that like on the video, comment on things to do, or just encouragements like you did with the first episode, or you can even subscribe to the channel. All three of those are the best ways to, of course, support this channel. Let's get on into it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit play so we can get some money. But first thing I want to do, we are going to go and actually destroy that house. We need to get our stuff laid down here. Elementary, which is not right on the intersection, I think is best. And then we could probably, you know what, let's do... I know we're going to build a park right there, but I'm wondering if we shouldn't drop something in between the schools here, or if I can make something. You know what, let's make something, and we'll eventually drop like a walkway there. I'm actually very okay with that. So then we're going to drop a high school. Now we see we don't have a need for high schoolers yet, but we're still going to drop that, and then I'm actually just going to turn it off. It'll save us a little bit of money, but it'll also leave us with the ability to use that in the future. But for now, what we need to do is we need to make a park zone, just as an FYI. I'm not good at making pretty park zones. I'm not good at making any sort of pretty zones. Try and follow the road as much as possible. It's not half bad. Daffodil Garden? You know what? That actually sounds like a pretty good park. That's pretty relevant. I don't know. Give me a suggestion for a daffodil or daffodil garden. Oh, I don't know. That just doesn't sound terribly appealing. You know what? Someone had mentioned something in the comments on my last video. I don't know. We'll figure something out. It needs to be something woodsy. I know that for sure. Maybe we'll name it in the next episode. That's not terribly important. What is terribly important is establishing our park. Now, I'm actually going to have the main entrance right across the high school. That way everyone can just walk straight from school going into the park, if that's what they so desire to do. So we laid down that. It establishes our park system, so we can start adding lots of stuff in. Now what I want to do is I do want to make this basically as accessible as possible. There's many different ways to do it as we can. So that seems like a lot, but I feel like it would be, I think it'll work. So we're gonna get, oh, I keep clicking on the education system. Not what we're needing. There we go. Okay, we've got to move this just a little bit. Sometimes the game is really finicky, and if you don't actually access these tiles, then it won't consider them used up. There we go. All right, so our park has been established. Now, before we get into it though, there is one thing that I want to do. So where my wife and I lived when we first got married, there was a park in a town called Parkville, go figure, that had basically it was like it ran by the river, which was really, really cool. But it also had like a track specifically geared towards like running and doing those sort of things. So with that in mind, I think we're gonna build a track that goes all the way around the park. And I think it'd be a really cool, just kind of different way to do things. Just a different way to approach a park, I guess, because I mean, I've seen some fantastic parks. And don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are loads of really, really good parks that people have made. But I'm always going for unique things as much as I can. Oh, that bugs me.
I saw the city passing by my window. Was in the crowd, but I felt so alone. Looked at my phone.
Oh, look at that. Fantastic. All right, so we have our circuit. I mean, it doesn't leave a lot for the outsides, but I have a plan for the inside, and it's not a roundabout using that road. Rather, it's a roundabout right here in the middle. Go 100 that way, 100 that way. Because everyone might not be here to play, per se. And in fact, you know what? No, we're gonna do almost like a courtyard kind of deal. Oh, perfect. I like that a lot. There we go. Perfect. And then we're gonna go straight into there. Ooh, I actually really like that a lot. Awesome. So this is our park. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into a little bit of a time lapse and create all the things and do all the stuff. So if you guys don't mind, you're going to hang out while I fill up this park. See ya in just a minute. All right, well, I think this is an okay start. And before, okay, we've got some issues to figure out. This isn't too shabby. Honestly, I've never decked out a park before, so I don't know exactly kind of the techniques and whatnot. But my thought was, you know, you have your little main entrance, and while you have your cafes and your stuff kind of in the middle, I love food trucks, and there's plenty of food trucks where I live, and there's different little things. So I thought that was really cool. Deck that area out. There are bathrooms everywhere because, you know what, as a parent of 3 kids, I see the value in having multiple bathrooms across an entire park. And I'm sure other parents would agree with me. So it seems a little excessive, but that's okay. And then as you saw during the, you know, the whole spiel, I was able to get to the next level already, which I think is pretty darn good for Daffodil Garden. And look at that, we're already at 744 visitors. You know what I'm gonna do? We're gonna go down there. We're not gonna have any. No, it's gonna be free to come in. That makes sense. But yeah, so I thought, you know, have a little walking trail, complete with the small little playground, and then rocks for kids to fall on. I figured that would be pretty good. But now that works for me. But I think we gotta work on getting some more water because we need some water pretty desperately. So we're gonna find a relatively remote location. There we go, that should solve that. And we are gonna have to have another pooper. Just the nature of the beast. But outside of that, I think we'll be okay. Now again, this will, you know, this will get better in time, and maybe I'll come in afterwards and do it offline. Maybe get up to that tier 3, etc, etc. But overall, I mean, I kind of like it. In fact, I really kind of like it. So what we need to do, we leveled up as well. We're gonna purchase that. And what's our next one? Do we get one? We do. So we need to get up to a big town so we can purchase this section and really be rocking. Unfortunately, we have some death care that we need to be concerned with. So who do I displace to slap in a solid death care system? You guys aren't doing too hot anyway, so bye-bye. I apologize. 20 bucks says you'll come back anyways. iSchool now has a reason to be on, so we're going to turn it on, much to the happiness of all the people around us. And then we may end up needing to get another service. I would think like down here. Maybe that would help us on that front. Of course, fire is always a problem. Crime rate's at 6%. So let's slap oh, I forgot we got like a police headquarters. I don't feel like that's necessary. Yeah, I don't feel like that's necessary at all. But we will get, there we go. That should help. That should help a lot. We got lots of school kids coming in. We've got high schoolers who will eventually come in as well. And now that we have, let's just get like, you know what, let's go ahead and do a park path. There we go. That works for me. And then we're just gonna do it straight. A pavement path just doesn't look great. Yeah, let's just go straight across. And we just want to connect all of the neighborhoods together. That's a little bit awkward, but I can handle it. There we go. Now, we're sitting at 92% traffic, which isn't a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. I think we've got everything else. We need a lot more industry. We need a lot of residential. So, excuse me. That little something stuck in my throat there. I think what we can do is we can go in under here. And I've got a decent chunk of land to work with. It doesn't mean we need to just automatically, you know, make big giant things out of it. But it just means that if we need to, we have that ability. There we go. Cool. You know what? I bet that could even... We don't really need to go with the flow here. Shoot me straight. Can we just go straight? We can't really go straight. We could go straight for a little bit, and maybe I kind of bring that coastline out. But I think if we kind of went in, then we could go straight. That's a little bit awkward. I'm gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Let's get, let's see, where is our piece? There it is. I mean, we can go decently straight for a while. Why does that work? I don't feel like that worked before. Don't know. I'm actually really okay with that. And instead of curving right with the highway, right like that, I think we're gonna end up coming out here. And seeing if that would work. My word, I'm a little bit conflicted. You know what? Forget it. We're gonna start on our city over here. Typically, you wouldn't see a 4-lane road going through a small town. So we're not gonna do a 4-lane road. I would like a little bit of symmetry here. Not even symmetry, just correctness, I guess. Oh, it bugs me. I'm such a perfectionist with these things. Let's not worry about that. I think if I build along these lines... There we go. We're gonna build in 1,200 chunks, although that is for sure gonna be dirt road. 100%. So let's go ahead and grab that. We're gonna follow these sort of trails here. Now, in typical countryside America, these would kind of be more uniform. Like, you would have just big chunks. But basically what we can roll with from a role-playing perspective is that, you know, this was just subdivided in a rather funky manner that I think would totally pass. There we go. Probably spending way too much time on that. But you know what? The farmers, at least on this side, they did end up respecting the forest line because it's actually a really good windbreak. If you have a solid windbreak, little farming fact of the day, then you're gonna have less issues with soil erosion. Is actually what it ends up being. So by respecting the tree line, they're actually doing themselves a favor and preserving, essentially preserving their land. Cool, we got to a tier 3 already. They're basically preserving their own fields, which I think is a very big positive. I don't even know if that's going to work. We may just end up going like this. The farmers just may not care. They just may not care too much. Because I don't want really awkward setups here. You want this to be rather uniform if possible. There we go. And yeah, we could just we'll work with that. We'll work with it. Is it complicated? Absolutely. Does it work? I guess we'll see. Yes, we will see. Now, however, we do have to come into town. And that, my friendos, requires pavement. There we go. Let's. Should we stick with? I feel like farmers don't give too much of a crap. What do we got there? We got 540. That's fine. Yeah, that'll be fine. And then we're gonna hitch a ride there. There we go. How far are we going across? 240? Look at that. Let's split the line. Almost an even split. This will be a little bit different simply because it's a small town. We don't judge. We don't judge their formats. Has to be a little bit more chaotic, right? Just needs to be. In fact, you know what? Let's do. Part of me almost wants to just make like this right here, almost like a courtyard area. Well, first, do that. And it can be a square courtyard as well, like, or you know, a downtown area. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Doesn't even have to actually be square. There we go. And that's going to be kind of our middle area, and then we'll surround everything else here. There we go. Let's do one more layer out, and then I think we'll be okay. Uh, 45 right there. Very cool. All right. Well, we got to get water and stuff to it, and then we got to get rolling because I am quickly running out of time in this episode. But what we could do also is, we'll forget about. We'll leave that for a little bit later. Pipes. Then of course, you know, we pipe into here. A little bit funky, but we're not being too crazy careful. There we go. Do I have to have this spot? I don't. We just need that to go around simply to meet the demands from the courthouse. Or I guess say the middle of town, quote unquote. Go. There we go. Doesn't make much sense, but that's okay. And then as for farms, I think we're gonna stick close. There we are. Let's go ahead and pump that out to here. There we go. Get this encircled in, that encircled in. And I think we need a water tower for sure. Go. And I think out here we are going to utilize wind power. Now, it's not going to be super crazy effective. But I think it'll get the job done. And it's kind of, we're some country-minded folk here who know what we're about. And that should work. Get us a little, oh, nope, we don't want that. Want that right there. That right there. Can you guys just expand, please? Oh, we're not connected to the main. To the main. Okay, that's a little bit of an issue. Let's just, I mean, goodness gracious. We don't have to be anything fancy here. I just want a straight line. There we go. You guys get that there city folk water. There we go. And then we're gonna paint all that stuff. And we will do kind of the main strip here. Outskirts of town, you know, like a gas station or a small little convenience store, before you finally head out to the farm. Now, the kicker about this is that we end up needing to section all of this off, because I don't want regular industry that'll pollute everything. Got our city planning and all that stuff. We don't need to ban heavy traffic. That's a little outrageous. What we do need to do quickly right now is industrial stuff. Let's go with farming industry. There we go. That going through the main parts of town. Is it a little weird that most of this gets pavement before the other ones do? Now the kicker with this too, we got to do this, man. This episode may go a little bit longer, ladies and gentlemen, and that's okay. What we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to establish a clover leaf. So we're gonna rip this all apart. All right, well, I at least got the roundabout made. Oh, sweet, level 4 for our, that's very cool. Our park is doing fantastic. Oh yeah, oh, it's doing incredible. That's awesome to see. Loads of people love Daffodil Garden. Of course, it can be renamed if someone gives me a really cool suggestion. But what we need to do here, that does not need to be a light. That is unnecessary. And we have at least the beginnings of our... Oh, we need to label this. What should this town be called? I have a couple of names in mind, but if you wouldn't mind suggesting some, we'll label this its own little cute little town, and we'll be pretty good there. All right, guys, that is going to be the end of this episode. There's not going to be anyone that's going to come here right now simply because we don't have that connection. So in the offsite, I'm gonna probably build this out to where we have probably our main street coming in, probably like right along here. That is actually probably where it'll be. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed any part of it, of course, like, subscribe, comment, do all the things that YouTube loves, and we will continue the expansion of Fairwood and its surrounding suburbs in the next episode. That's all for me. Thank you so much for watching. This is Havoc, and I'm out of here.